A very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV this 14th of February. My name is Michael Jodan Lukomwa and it's Valentine's Day 2023. Welcome aboard. Let's have a look at the top stories before we open up. Chisenyi traders start reconstruction after fire gutted their business structures. Business slow and buying of Valentine products drops. The Equal Opportunities Commission wants NITA to roll out internet connectivity, while defending champions Buddu FC to face Busiro for the competitions of Masaza Gabuganda Cup. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's me, Michael Jodan Lukomwa, and it's news tonight. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja has met a high-level delegation from the Republic of Korea at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala. The two parties discussed a wide range of issues, particularly to follow up on the various MOUs signed before. We have details to this.
There have been several exchanges of high-level visits between Uganda and the Republic of South Korea. These meetings have resulted into signing memoranda of understanding in the fields of defense, health, education, agriculture, trade, ICT, among others. Today, the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, met a high-level delegation from the Republic of South Korea led by Kim Il-sung, who is the Secretary of the President for Future Policy, Office of the President of the Republic of South Korea. Nabanja appreciated the contribution and support that Korea has continued to play in Uganda's transformation agenda through the different Korean agencies in Uganda.
The establishment of a sustainable model village or model villages in Mpigi and in Mitiana district, which costed us or costed you $5.9 US, whose objective is to train Ugandans in leadership, mindset change, and agricultural technology. We have also got support through the modernization and automation of the Entebbe International Airport worth $9.5 million US, an initiative that has improved safety, efficiency, and systems at the airport.
Talking about the parish development model, the Prime Minister informed the delegation that this initiative is expected to increase agricultural production.
Uganda has introduced the parish development model, which is a new vehicle that is to enable our 39% of the population who are not yet in the money economy to join the money economy. This initiative is envisioned to see increased production, mainly in the agriculture sector, where Korean investors can venture into value addition for exportation.
South Korea considers Uganda among 27 key priority partners in its international relations with Africa. The Republic of South Korea has expressed the desire for Uganda to prioritize the opening of an embassy in Seoul to boost business, attract investment, and Korean tourists to Uganda.
Comparing our Korean economic status, the relationship between Korea and the African country is kind of very sluggish. And so our president has intent to dramatically improve the bilateral relationship between Korea and the African country. Among them, the Uganda is kind of one of the top priority of the Korean policy.
The meeting was attended by a cross-section of ministers in the office of the Prime Minister and the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Mhakanizi Keith. Doreen Nasasra reporting for UBC News.
Speaker of Parliament Anita Among has rallied members of Parliament representing the East African Legislative Assembly to ensure spread of the gospel of the East African activities to different communities, including the informal sector. Speaker Among says that IALA and its activities are best known to a few communities and much more needs to be done. Among hosted IALA members of Parliament at her residence in Kampala.
This is with the love from Speaker's office.
The Speaker of the East African Legislative Assembly, Joseph Ntachiritimana, and IALA MPs shared a light moment at the residence of the Speaker of Uganda's Parliament, Anita Among, in Nakasero, Kampala. The IALA MPs are in Uganda for a high stakeholders meeting aimed at improving service delivery. The absence of representatives from DRC left a question of politics at play.
Don't enter into wars which are not yours. Let's have a meeting as speakers and we agree what should be done by our members who are in the community. We should be able, maybe their coming to Uganda would create some sanity, some peace, some reconciliation. But reconciliation on what?
Speaker Anita Among urged the MPs to consider increasing awareness of the activities of IALA to the grassroots. Among noted that a few community is knowledgeable about the contributions of IALA, which should not be the case.
What you do in the community. Most of the people don't understand about IALA. They don't understand about the community. So it is your responsibility. I've always asked my chapter that create awareness of what you do there, what laws you pass there, and when you pass the laws, bring the laws back to the National Assembly.
Speaker Among also asked the MPs to ensure promoting peace and also facilitate regional integration by passing regional laws that adhere to the wants of the population.
As you legislate in IALA, legislate for the people of different countries, of this community. And leave IALA better than the way you got it. Make sure that the way you got IALA now is going to be better than the way you got it when you're leaving after the 10 years.
So, we are new, but we have a dream. The dream you talked about, even if we don't have, we'll try to make a difference so that everyone would say that we did something special.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Residents and traders of Kakaju zone in Chisenyi, Kampala suburb, have embarked on the reconstruction of their shelter after an inferno destroyed residential and business points. These want government to support them through this crisis.
The mood in Chisenyi Kakaju zone remains somber as residents have embarked on reconstructing their makeshift structures for shelter.
This place has two parts. One part is for the residentials, another one is for the business people. So those ones who are constructing, they are residents of this area. But for the business people, they have not yet started constructing because they don't know where to start from.
This is the area where an inferno destroyed businesses worth millions and part of some residentials.
Many of them, they were shocked. Others, they are in hospitals, others, they are at home. They don't know what is taking place right now.
Umeme was also witnessed installing electricity poles to restore power connection, while to some, this was a blessing in disguise.
Picking leftovers. Leftovers. Kubanga botunulya emali yayidde waliwo ebyo bye basimasima ebyo oli n'agenda naawe abamu balina ensolo ze balunda nga zigenda kubirya abalala bagamba bwe mbijjamu ngenda nentundayo nenfunamu ebiri nange nfuna ekyokulya.
Affected traders want government to intervene and rescue them from the financial losses registered.
Mamala banja danatukako wano wabigwa tebiraze tetumanyi oba wala alinnya ennyonyi n'agenda emoloto alinnya ennyonyi n'agenda abafunya amataba tetumanyi oba ffe kuba buli muliro ogubeera wano tebavaayo ne batuyamba. Teri mubaka wa parliament nti yaze n'alaba embeera naye nga namwe abaana mawulire ba UBC twogera bya bulimba kasooli obunga bwonna bwaweddewo nga bwolaba bwoti.
Police launched investigations to establish the cause of the fire. Similar fire outbreaks were registered in Chisenyi in 2017 and January 2022, but no clear report has been made public explaining the cause of the fire. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
Despite being known as a Lovers or Valentine's Day, it was business as usual downtown Kampala as most traders went about their business just normally. Dealers in Valentine merchandise complained of a shortage of customers and attributed to the current tough economic times.
Valentine's Day is a worldwide celebration, but in downtown Kampala, the situation was normal as people went about their business as usual. Unlike in the past, the streets were not littered with Valentine's Day souvenirs. Fewer customers were at different shops looking for when buying gifts.
Valentine is a good day. If you have someone you love, it's good to appreciate them.
It is important for us women to give our partners gifts on this special day. So I urge those that have partners to make them happy on this Valentine's Day. However, some sellers of Valentine's merchandise claim to have earned in the recent days.
People have been buying, especially women.
Abakazi bebasinga obba mukwano naye abasajja wajja atwala akamuli kabbiri nti atwalira maama we nebba abakazi bagula bya bbeeyi sente bayina.
Valentine's Day, also Saint Valentine's Day or the Feast of Saint Valentine, is a worldwide celebrated day annually on February 14th. It originated as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr named Saint Valentine. Charlotte Amuge and Brian Biarohanga for UBC News.
The East African Revenue Authority's commissioners have urged East African Community Partner States to formulate and implement a common legal regime to deal with cross-border tax evasion. The two-day consultative meeting to stop all tax leakages across the East African Community border states attracted all 7 delegates across the community.
We cannot do this alone.
While addressing East African Revenue Authority tax commissioners, Dennis Kateba from Uganda Revenue Authority urged partner states to deal with the emerging threats to revenue mobilization and organized criminal groups across borders.
We have crime cases which we have so far encountered across borders, and we have worked jointly before. We need that collaboration to continue and we improve it further so that every business is declared and accounted for.
Existing different law regimes was a challenge that commissioners identified because it jeopardizes tax investigation task.
There is also complication in terms of laws. Laws are changing. We are adopting the international practices. We are different in terms of regional policy formulation. So it's high time as the commissioners of investigations and intelligence to advise our superiors on the best policies for the countries and for the region.
So for us to be effective, we must make sure that we are working well with judiciary. We are working well, like in our case with judiciary, Director of Public Prosecutions, and also the police. So that judiciary understands our role as a role to creating deterrence, not as a role to take a case and they tell you go and agree.
Cross-border information sharing and harmonization of existing legal frameworks on uniform collaboration was recommended to support the tax investigation department.
Yeah. I know there are a few things which need to be discussed as well, because the law, the East African Customs Management Act, provides powers of investigator, right? they say that the officer shall be having the powers of a police officer. But again, Dr. Karanja here said you're not allowed to carry a gun. So you have the powers of a police officer in terms of arresting people. I don't know, how are you going to arrest with a professional face like that? And you talk to him professionally, and then let's go, I'll take you in. So I think something has to be done.
All East African Revenue Authority representatives attended to deliberate on effective joint collaboration in fighting criminal tax across the East African community states. Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
The Uganda Prison Service have clarified about the questions in the public domain concerning the bail and release of legislators Muhammad Segirinya of Kawempe North and Alan Sewanyana of Machindia East. According to the service spokesperson Frank Baine, their role as the prison services is to keep suspects in custody and release them in case of any court order.
The standing orders are clear. A prison is opened at 5:30 a.m. and a prison is closed at 5 p.m.
So what happened yesterday?
By 5 p.m. they had gone. I knew the confusion that was coming. I can tell you, the moment they paid the money in the bank, we had already called the family. So the release was done before even these guys, even before the journalists reached Chigo. These people had left prison. But they had requested not to talk to the media, so it was not our work to give information to the media that these people have already gone. The functions of the service shall be to ensure that every person detained legally in a prison is kept in humane, safe custody, produced in court when required, until lawfully discharged or removed from prison. Does it talk about me taking them home? I don't follow them to their home. The function of prisons is to escort a discharged prisoner to the precincts, the end of the precincts of the prison. And that's where we stop. Anything that happens, even if it is a foot from the precincts of prisons, is not our function to know.
UBC News Tonight, that's the prison's spokesperson Frank Baine in a discussion with one of our reporters. Now, students who are pursuing education and external studies have been urged to find a solution to the poor performance of pupils under universal primary education and the low passing rate in literacy of all learners at primary 7. Speaking during the second session on Makerere University 73rd graduation ceremony at Freedom Square in Makerere University, the University Chancellor, Professor Ezra Suruma, expressed the need for researchers in the education sector to come out with findings on teachers' absenteeism, since it is one of the causes for poor performance.
Makerere University's second session of the 73rd graduation has seen students from the College of Agriculture and Environmental Management and those from the College of Education and External Studies graduate with PhDs, master's degrees, bachelor's degrees and diplomas.
Now they have trained us to tell the youth that here is the opportunity to start thinking about themselves, discovering themselves.
I discovered that teachers embrace educational technologies, although some are still not well actually conversant with these emerging technologies.
Among the graduates is the Director Quality Education Consultancy Limited, who has been awarded a doctorate for researching on education of refugees in Nachi Valley settlement.
Curriculum that is taught to the refugee learners is not relevant to the needs of the refugees. Many of these refugees come from very many countries. They come from Congo, Rwanda.
One of the doctors researched on the rice value chain and the other on the potato variety that can help fight viruses that attack potatoes, which has caused losses to farmers.
We were able to identify 5 genes that could actually suppress these viruses, and these genes were able to protect the potato from one of the viruses called PVY.
All the farmer to take lead and then ensure that right from the production process we have what we call the village agents. But these village agents are the lead farmers who look at the whole production process.
The Chancellor, Makerere University Professor Ezra Suruma, said it is important to recognize the impact of agricultural research and training and the fundamental role of education in transforming individuals, communities and nations.
My office attempted to reduce teacher absenteeism as one of the causes of poor performance. But we were aware of the complexity of issues that caused it, and I hope the researchers in education can help to improve the quality of primary and secondary education.
Makerere University has revealed plans of introducing a cross-cutting course in mind education to impart soft skills.
We believe that mindset education will not only unlock the enormous potential in our youthful nation, but that it will also provide the requisite soft skills.
Nafka Farida and Jodan Lukomwa in Makerere.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
This is our family's pride.
This is my friend.
This is the future of our nation.
She is the future of Uganda, and the policies I enact today will protect her from teenage pregnancy.
She is the hope of our community, and I will talk to others about how we must protect her.
She is our family's pride, and I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Their support meant so much to me. I stayed focused and was protected from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. I will support other girls against child marriage and teenage pregnancy.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Let me just send.
Yes.
Oh. Accessing your contacts the old way.
Yeah.
Accessing your contacts with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to access your favorite contact.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Did you know that a cashless, secure, and convenient lifestyle is possible with Airtel Money Pay? Pay for your goods and services in the following simple steps. Dial *185 *9#. Enter the merchant ID. Enter the amount. Enter payment reference, for example, school items. Please enter PIN to confirm. You will receive a confirmation message for a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that a second round of the house-to-house polio immunization campaign will take place from Friday 17th February to Monday 20th February 2023 in all divisions of Kampala. During this house-to-house polio immunization campaign, health workers will come to your homes, workplaces, schools, daycare centers, places of worship, and other community gatherings and immunize all your children below 5 years of age. Please cooperate with the health workers and give them access to your homes and schools to vaccinate all children below 5 years of age against polio. It is important to note that this house-to-house polio immunization campaign does not replace routine immunization. The polio vaccine is safe, effective, and free.
Parents and guardians, please ensure that all your children below 5 years of age are immunized against polio during the second round of the polio immunization campaign from Friday 17th of February to Monday 20th of February 2023 in all divisions of Kampala. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF, World Health Organization, and partners.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Thank you so much for watching. It's UBC News Tonight, and welcome back from the break. Now, the National Agricultural Research Organization, that is NARO, is undertaking final trials of the tick vaccine at 5 different research institutes across the country. Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Frank Tumwebaze, and the Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Batia Kasaija, visited one of the laboratories.
Government loses at least $1 billion every year in purchase and treatment of tick-borne diseases. To curb this, government through the Ministry of Agriculture has come up with an anti-tick vaccine which will help eliminate the parasite.
As an institution, developed an anti-tick vaccine we should be able to address the problem of tick and tick-borne diseases in this country. And currently, we are evaluating this anti-tick vaccine through what we call on-farm multi-locational trials. And this trial is going to take is going to take place for a duration of 1 year. The trial was initiated in October last year.
During the site visit at the facility, the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Frank Tomwebaze, asked government to increase funding to the ministry to facilitate research.
If NARO is fully funded for some time and they are able to commercialize their products, maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, government may not need to be putting in more money here. But this can only be achieved if initially the initial injection is substantial to enable them to commercialize all their products. Because you've seen everything here can be sold and they can earn money. They can even generate electricity from their biogas and sell it to the national grid.
The facility, when completed, will produce 20 million doses of anti-tick vaccine annually, which will be distributed to farmers across the country.
We want to produce it massively and be able to roll it out to farmers. So in the effort to produce this vaccine massively, NARO has constructed an anti-tick production facility at Nachesasa with the capacity to produce 20 million doses.
However, there are some challenges the facility is facing during the execution of duty.
We are requesting government to provide sustainable funding for agricultural research and development with a funding requirement of 300 billion annually. We want to believe that if given 300 billion annually for a period of 10 years, we should be able to be self-sustaining and self-reliant and produce resources that will be able to trigger very accelerated agricultural transformation in this country. We are requesting government to support the production of early generation seed. Agriculture of any country can be when it is supported by a vibrant and fully functional seed system.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Mulago National Specialized Referral Hospital has initiated a quick and less painful procedure to diagnose or screen cancer called cytopathology. Dr. Sharif Mosoke, a pathologist at Mulago Hospital, says that it takes 3 minutes for the person to know their results.
Mulago National Referral Hospital Department of Pathology has initiated a clear way of scanning cancer and other diseases called cytopathology. Cytology or cytopathology is used to evaluate individual cells or cell clusters to diagnose certain disease, including some forms of cancer. Cytology tests allow testing using a small sample with less pain than having to remove a large volume of tissue.
This is a test for cancer diagnosis that is not so common among the population. Basically this one, if you have a swelling and we want to check if it's cancer or not, we get a syringe and pistol and put in your swelling and just use these very nice stains here that you are seeing. We dip them maybe 3-4 minutes, you have a diagnosis, so you can go to your doctor in a few minutes and just say cancer or not cancer.
Cancer is the major cause of suffering and death throughout the world. It's predicted that there will be 21 million new cancer cases per year in 2030 globally, and 70% of the cancer burden will be in the developing world. Dr. Sharif Mosoke, a pathologist at Mulago Hospital, says that the procedure identifies and diagnoses cancerous and non-cancerous cells or diseases even before symptoms are noticeable.
This is especially for thyroid. Once I tell them it's cancer or it's not cancer, they can go ahead and operate without the kanyama. Service has always been here. It's just not popularized. People are used to the kanyama, but now in the current Uganda, you can have a diagnosis in few minutes, whether you have cancer or not.
In Uganda, at least 32,617 new cases and 21,829 cancer deaths were registered in 2018. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Zahra Abigaba. A Swedish investor in education, Anders Andersson, who watched UBC TV news on an armless boy called Innocent Odia, who excelled in PLE with 15 aggregates, has pledged to support him to complete his education. Innocent Odia is former pupil of Akalo Comprehensive School in Lira. Andersson has also identified other 500 pupils, each to be taken on a bursary scheme.
A Swedish investor in education, Anders Andersson, has identified over 500 pupils at Chide Primary School in Kasangati for bursaries. Anders Andersson watched the armless boy on UBC TV, who excelled in PLE with 15 aggregates, Innocent Odia, and is among the first beneficiaries in these bursaries. Andersson will work with government to support schools across the country with clean water.
To prepare the scholarship, which will include the armless boy, so we can help him as many other children as well. So, when it comes to scholarship and school questions, you can reach me through Mr. Seninde, so he is the voice outside.
Chide Primary School, the pioneer school of the Swedish bursaries, over 500 pupils studying, bid Andersson farewell. The proprietor of the school, Chiza Seninde, encouraged parents of Innocent Odia to focus on studies so as to benefit from the Swedish education investor.
He wants to fight to get about 500 scholarships for this school and a very big tank for water. I don't know how it's going to do it, water from the sky. It will be the first of this kind, moreover in Africa. So we are so lucky if everything can materialize.
It's those lucky to be in possession.
General Muhoozi Kainerugaba has contributed 5 million Uganda shillings towards a burial of his mobilizer, Aine Arnold, who has been buried today in his home district of Bushenyi. The condolence message was read by Vice Chairperson MK Movement, Balam Barugahare, and he said they have lost a great leader for tomorrow.
It has been tears of sadness while sending off General Muhoozi Kainerugaba's great supporter, Aine Arnold, in Igara East constituency in Bushenyi district. Aine Arnold, a 29-year-old student of law at LDC Kampala, a great supporter, an MK Army coordinator in school and in his home district of Bushenyi. The Vice Chairperson, MK Movement in Western Uganda, accompanied by other MK supporters, delivered General Muhoozi Kainerugaba's condolence message.
Council Aine Arnold will certainly be missed by all the peace-loving people. Accept my condolence of 5 million shilling. To help in burial arrangements. Rest in peace, Comrade Council Aine Arnold. Currently, I'm away on official assignments. I'm out of the country. Signed by General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. And the message has been delivered by Captain Asasi Rayona.
Captain Asasi.
The area member of parliament of Igara East constituency, Michael Mawanda, says they have lost a great lawyer and a supporter.
Nateekateeka najja mwena hali nitwanganira ki ekiri kutuma nitwangana niki mwene ngeke kyabaha leero ogaho tinyo nazo mu rwango mureke tukundane abo kuba noshotesha ekire kori kurebe kiyita omusigazi ogu shukaari abaryo kwe nimwija kunkiriza wotine shukaari oine pressure.
Medical reports show that Aini Arnold died of diabetes and hypertension.
Arnold has died a natural death. He was not poisoned, nothing. He has been diabetic, running in a pressure, and actually even one time that size, the size in care mama wow.
The Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries is in Kayunga district to assess the development of the pineapple juice factory. The 3.5 Uganda shillings project at Busale in Kayunga sub-county has a daily capacity of 12 metric tons of producing 12 metric tons of juice.
Following President Yoweri Museveni's directive to establish a pineapple factory in Kayunga district, Parliament is monitoring developments at the facility. The Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Atim Agnes Apia, also Mulata District Women MP led a supervisory tour to the facility and farmer gardens.
And we are here to assess the effectiveness of the investment that government has put in place to ensure that this factory is here to provide value addition for the pineapple product that is widely grown in this district.
The committee discovered loopholes as most farmers in the area do not have access to information on pineapple growing due to inadequate extension workers.
So the sub-counties has no extension staff. And our engagement with farmers, we found that farmers have difficulties in assessing the productivity and profitability of the crop that they grow.
A committee member, Enoch Nyongori, acknowledged that there are loopholes in the project management which need address. According to Khadija Blessing Nakakande, the 3.5 billion project is a presidential pledge to Entebbe Miracle Center to improve the livelihood of the local farmers.
The Kayunga district local government came on board because we could not work outside the local government who were in charge of the area.
The pineapple juice factory will be commissioned in May this year.
Yes, thank you so much for watching. Let's take a short break. On return, we'll have business news tonight.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes! 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
We now talk business news tonight. Joel Taylor, the Liberian Vice President, has rooted for African trade market. In her visit to some industries in Uganda, he underscored the importance of import substitution in the continent's economic growth.
The Liberian Vice President, in the company of David Bahati, the State Minister for Trade, have today toured Cipla Quality Chemical Industries in Luzira, a Kampala suburb. Taylor lauded the medicine manufacturers and rooted for the African trade market.
We must begin to look at these instances where things are produced on our continent. So I want to thank His Excellency President Museveni for being far-sighted and beginning a process where what we need is produced here. COVID taught me one lesson, that if we do not have what we need on the continent, if there's a crisis, our people will die needlessly. Because if they are produced here, easily you can send to West or Central or North Africa without being through a lot of stress. It's easier getting to the source. It's easier for those who will be buying the drugs to have easier access to what we need in terms of our critical medicines that we need. Of course, malaria, HIV, and the other materials that are being produced here.
Cipla Quality Chemicals, a stock market listed and global pharmaceutical company, uses cutting-edge technology and innovation to meet the everyday needs for patients.
Other companies can come and they will have an environment that they can grow, they can develop, because that is the way we secure our children. So I'm just grateful to have an opportunity to see this amazing factory. We look forward to many, many, many more across our continent so that we will be able to produce here what we actually need.
It talks about how Africa can benefit from Africa itself. It talks about how we can make in Africa and supply in Africa. And Cipla QCL is testament to that. We are producing anti-malarial and HIV treatment in Africa from last 10-15 years, and we're exporting to more than 18 countries. So it just strengthens the whole purpose of that Africa can produce for Africa, and Africa can solve their own problems.
Joel Taylor, who is in the country for an official visit, is a Liberian politician currently serving as the 30th Vice President of Liberia. Dennis Igor for UBC News.
Rob Walker, a renowned British athletics commentator, has trekked the Rushagura group in Buindi Impenetrable National Park. Walker, who had an exclusive interview in the dense forest with our reporter Dennis Igor, could not hide his joy and admiration of the gorilla trekking experience.
They're coming with us?
Rob Walker has had memorable lifetime moments since he arrived in Uganda a week ago. The global sports commentary icon, who is in the country as a guest of the state, visited Uganda's top tourism product, the mountain gorillas in Buindi Impenetrable National Park.
And the best thing of all is watching the way they interact with one another, especially the babies. The young ones remind me of my son. But we've trekked for around 2 hours, but even the trek was really nice because we were going through some amazing mountainous scenery.
Walker trekked the Rushagura group, the largest habituated family with 2 silverbacks.
Why it is not usual for them to be more than one is because they don't like to share. Both the families, or we can call them the adult families, or even food. So unless they have a common cause to be together, then they always want to be separate. But these ones have decided to live together.
Gorilla trekking is one of the greatest wildlife encounters, something that most tourists, domestic and foreign, consider to be a magical and unique adventure.
Well, if you're going to come to Uganda and you have enough time, you should come and do the gorilla trek. It really is a truly magical experience. I hadn't really thought about it much before doing it because I've had 8 or 9 trips to Uganda before, but always Kampala and Jinja, so it was never an option. But having come to this part of the country and seen the beauty and seeing how much excitement there is around doing a gorilla trek and how much conservation work is being done to ensure that our grandchildren will still be able to come and do this, it really does become a really important part of your understanding of the country.
Mountain gorillas can only be found in 3 countries in the whole world, and Uganda, located in East Africa, is privileged to be one of them. Gorilla trekking is one of Uganda's selling points for the tourism industry, and for you to experience it, you just have to come to Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. Dennis Igor for UBC News.
State Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Bwino Chakulaga, has met Sasakawa Africa Association Board Chairperson on food insecurity and incomes of smallholder Sasakawa Africa. Smallholder farmers. Sasakawa Africa supports smallholder farmers to utilize technology and increase food production and household incomes.
The Uganda Poverty Index is estimated at 11.6%, with 37.9 million people in poverty. The State Minister of Agriculture, Bwino Chakulaga, has met the visiting Sasakawa Africa Association Board Chairperson, Professor Ruth Onyango.
When I met Sasakawa, I fell in love at first sight. And we thank you for the services that you are rendering to our people. Of course, the services that you are rendering are sort of helping us as government. It's part of what you should be rendering to our people. So you are just supplementing.
And that's what we always do.
Yes. But I also appreciated your approach.
Yes.
There is need for research, value addition and marketing of farmers' produce, which Sasakawa Africa Association partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture can help in providing extension services to the smallholder farmers.
The community in Uganda needs to be awakened. And to us, that's the most important work. But
the board chairperson, Sasakawa Africa Association, Professor Ruth says smallholder farmers have adapted technologies that have transformed Uganda into a food basket in the East African region.
I can tell you Uganda rates very well. I know you talk about malnutrition and what have you, but we know, because we work here. We have been here for over 20 years. We have worked with the farmers all over Uganda. We have worked with the ministry, and we particularly value the government's focus on food security, on creating jobs, and that helps us and other partners to actually work with you.
Sasakawa Africa Association Country Director David Wozemba Wetaka says that the organization is now spearheading restarting the soil nutrients while increasing crop production and productivity.
We need to go back to the basics and teach our farmers that you need to make sure that you regenerate this soil, bring in the right microorganisms to be able to make sure that this soil can feed the crops that you put in there. So whatever we talk, if we want to make sure that this farmer lives a happy life the next 10, 20 years, go back to the basics of soil. Make the soil more productive and accepting of the crop that we grow in.
Harnessing soil fertility is a major factor in fighting the impacts of the greenhouse effects and climate change. I'm Nafka Farida and Setumba Douglas.
Thank you so much for watching. We now talk sports. In preparation for the Masazaga Uganda Cup finals, teams are in earnest preparations. Budu FC will face Busiro FC in what many refer to as the do or die match.
When one talks of a local sports gathering with the biggest fan base, then the Masaza football tournament cannot be compared to any. And given their attachment to a certain region within Buganda Kingdom, many seem to be entitled to belong to a certain region. Now, after 2 years with literally no fans in the stadia, the 2022 final edition will attract close to 20,000 fans. And after the finals were pushed to allow His Majesty the Kabaka be part of it, fourth match will be epic. Defending champions Budu FC and Busiro tussle it out to determine the competition's champion. And as none has ever won the prize twice, defending champions Budu FC have a chance to retain the trophy.
We're going to work hard such that we don't shame our sponsors. This sponsorship is going to also boost us in camp. It's going to help us positively.
Plascon Paints has added color to both the training and preps for Budu FC to a tune of 70 million shillings. The partnership will stretch for the entire year as shirt sponsors for Budu FC.
So we want to also identify ourselves with that very well managed tournament. For starters, by extending a hand to Budu FC. I think they are just on the verge of joining Mawokota as one which has won it for the third time. We all know it is only Goma who has done it for, but we think Budu is making a great effort to catch up with all these two, Mawokota and the Gomba.
Budu FC has been a feeder to many Super League teams, grooming talent and offering a platform for many youths to flourish.
The UEFA Champions League returns tonight with PSG hosting Bayern Munich, while Tottenham will travel to the San Siro to face AC Milan.
Kylian Mbappe has returned to training ahead of the scheduled PSG Champions League clash with Bayern Munich. The France forward was expected to be out for 3 weeks after suffering a thigh injury earlier this month. Mbappe trained on the eve of Tuesday heavyweight contest, a repeat of the 2020 final, which Bayern won 1-0. Lionel Messi has also received treatment for a hamstring and also named in the PSG squad. If Mbappe and Messi do return, it would be a huge boost for PSG, who have lost their past 2 domestic matches. Meanwhile, Tottenham Hotspur will face AC Milan tonight. Tottenham manager Antonio Conte believes that his players will put up a show at the San Siro. The Spurs boss returned to the dugout on Saturday after a gallbladder surgery, is missing 3 key midfielders and goalkeeper Hugo Lloris for the first leg on Tuesday, but believes they will make it through.
And that way we come to the end of our first edition of News Tonight. We'll catch you again at 10 p.m. with the second edition. For now, let's wind up with a look at the top stories. Chisenyi traders have started reconstructing their shelter and business points after the fire. Business has been reported to be low and buying of Valentine products still dropped. The Eco Opportunities Commission wants NITA-U to roll out internet connectivity, while defending champions Budu FC will face Busiro for the competition champions in Masazaga Bugande Cup. My name is Jodan Lukomwa. Let's catch you at 10 p.m. Enjoy the evening.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.